So this is the 2340 Hrs GMT edition of the Baby Angel Geronimo Editions KhoodeelaarTV Television Channel, being broadcast only on the internet, not on satellite, not on terrestrial, and not on cable networks. This is the KhoodeelaarTV Television Channel Part B, being broadcast on the internet at 2340 hours GMT London, UK, Sunday, 12th of February 2023. This is the KhoodeelaarTV Television Channel, broadcasting under the banner of the Baby Angel Geronimo Editions. Baby Angel Geronimo is the world's most authentic, reliable, transparent, consistent, compassionate witnessing the depravity of the UK state and its depraved agencies, and the behavior of the evilness in each of the personification of the wrong, evil decision makers, including Christine Middlemiss, who is the evilness, Christian evilness at DEFRA. So, Baby Angel Geronimo is witnessing similar depravity by other agencies on other topics, encompassing the same evilness that the DEFRA perpetrated against Baby Angel Geronimo over the years of their conspiracy and lies and criminality. The Baby Angel Geronimo is the world's bestest, most innocent Baby Angel Geronimo. So today's updates in context include, of course, the fact that there are still so-called industrial actions being threatened or being proposed or being mentioned by the various trade unions in the United Kingdom, including the staff called nurses in the NHS. Now, there is no evidence that anyone has carried out in the United Kingdom, at least for the last 200 years, if not longer, any industrial action or comparable action, withdrawing their services, withdrawing their labor from the trade unions, the staff members. Why? Because despite the external description and claims to the effect that the United Kingdom is a democracy, and for at least 200 years it has been a liberal democracy, essentially it is a corrupt state whose powers are shared by mainly 2 or 3 sections of the stakeholders in the corruption, which means that the demography, the ordinary population, the electors, are left out of the equation. And in the legislation concerning industrial action, strike action, etc., there is no recognition of the existence of the 99% of the people, 99% of the demography. That is the point we make, but we shall, of course, expand on it in a series of essays. This is the point we are making because, for example, in the very highly dense population compared to the rest of the country, in London, many people rely on the availability of the thing called the London Transport for London, providing buses and trains, underground trains and overground trains. But there is no evidence anywhere in the Transport for London system of even a token recognition of the existence of the passengers. Think about that. Isn't it world exclusive? It is indeed. And so, therefore, the essays will cover this. In the last half an hour, one bus driver going to a destination from Stratford ignored the passenger who pressed the bell and expected the bus to stop at the station coming up. But the bus driver completely ignored that and drove on. When the passenger shouted at him that I pressed it several times, the bus driver reluctantly stopped the bus and let the passenger out. No apology, no regret, no sorry, nothing. Now, this is the kind of most moderate behavior by wrongdoing drivers. The ordinary behavior would be the driver would shout an accusation or more than one accusation to the passenger. When the driver has been wrong, we shall do the essay with the other examples as well. Now, in the case of the police in Lancashire in England, allegedly doing the investigation and searches for Nicola Bulley. This is something that is now it's getting attention. And there is a message of hope tied to footbridge near to where mother of two disappeared. Let's take a look at the message. It's coming from Sky News. Nicola Bulley, messages of hope. This is Fraser Maud, North of England correspondent, Fraser Maud, Fraser Sky. And the item is timed at 14:34, is it? 14:33. And the message says, well, it is very difficult to read every word, so I'm not going to read it because it might come across as a misreading. So that's a message of hope on the footbridge where Nicola Bulley disappeared. River Wear, footbridge over there, River Wear on Saturday. Okay, let's say what they are saying the message is reading. One message read, hope is the last thing you ever lost, while another simply said, we need you home, Nick. The message signed by Annie read, missing you in our hearts and prayers. Now essentially that's what we have been saying. We have been praying for Nicola, and we have been noting some of the updated entries. And the point is that there is a universal agreement. There is a universal agreement among most observers, most people that have come on the internet, that the police showed how incompetent they are. They issued a series of totally unverified and unsustainable claims about where Nikki might have gone, including the fact that she fell in the river, and they even went to the sea. And they didn't find her in the sea, and they couldn't find her in this river. This is tip of the iceberg of the police failures. And if we look at the actual internet count on the search side of it, say if we look at the Nicola search, the first count produces how many? The first count produces about 76,900,000 results in 46 seconds. That is a narrowed search. If we put it Nicola Bailey without any narrowing, it is 77,500,000 results in 56 seconds. And there are all kinds of new offers, like forensic expert offering to carry on hunt for Nicola Bully away from river. And it says that the police widen investigation to include day before Nicola Bully disappeared. Now, all of these 77 million, 75 million, whatever millions numbers, entries worldwide, proves one thing, that policing, as objectively understood in the United Kingdom, doesn't exist. And this is not the first time police have done other wrongs. Could talk about Hillsborough disaster, and it is 30 years, and the police, more than 30 years, the police still haven't accepted responsibility for the massacre of the football fans. Let's see how long it has been since Hillsborough. Hillsborough was a fatal human crash during a football match at Hillsborough Stadium in Sheffield, South Yorkshire, on 15th of April 1989. And it occurred during an FA Cup semi-final between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest in the two standing only central pens in the Lappings Lane stand allocated to Liverpool supporters. Shortly before kick-off, in an attempt to ease overcrowding outside, outside the entrance turnstiles, the police match commander David Duckenfield ordered exit gate C to be opened, leading to an influx of supporters entering the pens. This resulted in overcrowding of those pens and the crash. With 97 deaths and 766 injuries, it is the highest death toll in British sporting history. 94 people died on the day. Another person died in hospital days later, and another victim died in 1993. In July 2001, a coroner ruled that Andrew Devine, who died 32 years after suffering severe and irreversible brain damage on the day, was the 97th victim. The match was abandoned and restaged at Old Trafford in Manchester on 7 May 1989. Liverpool won and went on to win that season's FA Cup. Now, this is called human crash, but this is not human crash because in the immediate aftermath of the massacres, police issued false, intentionally untruthful accounts to the press, blaming the victims. Blaming the victims. So that's 89, 34 years ago. And the police have not been held to account. It doesn't speak at all to any claim that there is a policing producing, providing security and protection for the public. Instead, the police have acted as a hostile force, first of all causing the deaths and massacres, and then blaming the victims of their massacre. And for 34 years, they have been dragging it on, denying. So if the police do that, where do the public go? Seeking protection. Because of the importance of security and safety that the police are supposed to provide, the police in every part of England, the UK, are given severely high powers and authority over the public. And nobody, as far as we know, has yet called for those to be reviewed and removed. The powers of the police are not consistent with the service because the service is nil or negative. Now, having said all of that, if you look at Roxana Fias, the mayor of Newham, she has got on the record, let's say, this is worth playing again. In one highly charged account, a West African mother with a baby strapped to her back explained through tears how she had to wait for 20 hours outside Newham Social Services after fleeing an abusive relationship during which escape, fleeing, that is, She became so hungry she had to drink milk that was meant to be drunk by her child. This is this is the account that is online available, and it's dated Tuesday, the 13th of November, 2018, and it's filed by Byline to May Bullman, described as social affairs correspondent on that date. And there is a quotation: I was in my slippers. It was so cold. I plucked up the courage to ask them, to say I am hungry. I have a baby. But they, meaning the Newham Council Social Services, said, we can't give you anything. So, on that basis, she had to drink the milk that was meant for her child's survival. Now, it's the social services in Newham Council, fronted by the incumbent in the so called post of executive mayor by Roxana Fiaz, that one social service employee has conspired with other social service employees in making up scenarios and excuses and allegations against one or more than one person who, because of the injuries and the illnesses, have been needing their help. And these social services persons have denied the services required. They have confected a series of lies, and all of that in detail has been made known to Roxana Fiaz, who has failed to take any action. And that social services person also made up a subsidiary conspiracy in order to justify the conspiracy and the negligence of his colleague that actually caused thefts, concealment, damages to properties belonging to a particular individual who had to be in hospital because of the illness. And they said, these conspiring social service personnel, that the police should be told about this. Looking at the reality of the police not existing, how can making the police aware of these make any difference? Because the significant losses, thefts, and damages caused because of the negligence by the social services in failing to heed the correct and correctly vindicated practical steps that the individual concerned gave them. That would have, if they had listened to the person concerned, that would have prevented the thefts and the robbery and the concealment and the damages. These are concerning the intellectual properties worth very high amount of values. World exclusive intellectual properties originally created but exposed to criminal removal and concealment by the corrupt and conspiratorial and criminally negligent behavior of the Newham employees, wrongly called social services. You extrapolate this, and there are literally dozens, hundreds of cases of other values that the police, being wrongly cited by the Newham Council, and the police and the Newham Council social services failing to protect the properties, protect the individuals, and so on. And Roxana Fiaz is completely wrong. Roxana Fiaz is not the only incumbent in the post of elected mayor that is doing wrongful things. We shall be ending this edition, 28 minutes, and continuing on all the other items on overdue for updating in due course. This is 0008 hours GMT on Monday, the 13th of February, 2023.